It is 3:47 AM, somewhere over eastern Ukraine. The night sky is silent, too silent. On a classified frequency, Air Defense Command has been tracking an unusual pattern for the past 72 hours. Russian drone launches have dropped to almost zero. Veterans know what this means. The Russians are massing. Then, at 3:47 AM, the screens light up. Over 200 Shahed 136 drones lift off simultaneously from 3 locations. Their combined payload is more than 8 tons of high explosives. Their targets are critical infrastructure across central Ukraine. But in this scenario, Ukrainian commanders do not scramble their limited interceptors. They do not activate their expensive missile batteries. Instead, a single command is entered: Swarm Sync. Release authorized. Within seconds, 84 small drones launch from hidden positions. They carry no human operators, each one is guided by artificial intelligence. For the first time, an autonomous swarm controlled by artificial intelligence engages enemy aircraft in coordinated combat. Now, to be clear, this specific engagement has not been publicly confirmed. But here is what makes this scenario not just plausible, but increasingly likely. Everything I'm about to describe is based on 3 things: technologies that already exist, trends that are already accelerating, and problems that Ukraine is already trying to solve. According to confirmed reports from the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, Russia has launched over 8,000 Shahed-type drones since the war began. Analysis from the Royal United Services Institute finds that each interception costs Ukraine between 10 and 25 times more than the drone itself. The math doesn't work. When the math doesn't work, militaries innovate. So let's explore what that innovation could look like, based on what we actually know. First, let's establish the facts. The Shahed 136, also designated Geran 2 by Russia, is an Iranian-designed loitering munition. Multiple defense analysts, including those at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, estimate each unit costs approximately $20,000 to produce. It carries a warhead of 40 to 50 kilograms, has a range of roughly 2,500 kilometers, and cruises at speeds between 150 and 180 kilometers per hour. To shoot one down, Ukraine typically uses one of 3 options. Surface-to-air missiles cost anywhere from $140,000 to over $500,000 per shot. Anti-aircraft guns are cheaper, but they have limited range and accuracy at night. Fighter aircraft risk pilot lives and consume expensive flight hours. According to Ukrainian Air Force Commander Mykola Oleshchuk, the cost asymmetry is unsustainable. He said, "We cannot continue to spend $500,000 to destroy a $20,000 drone." This is the problem. Now, here is where the solution is heading. In 2023, Ukraine announced partnerships with multiple defense technology firms to develop AI-assisted drone interception systems. In 2024, reports emerged of successful tests involving networked drone swarms capable of autonomous target identification. In January 2025, Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Mikhailo Fedorov said Ukraine was months away from deploying AI systems that will fundamentally change how we defend our skies. So what might such a system look like? Let us build a plausible model based on existing technology. The core technology already exists in various forms. Commercial racing drones can achieve speeds over 200 kilometers per hour. Computer vision systems can identify objects in milliseconds. Mesh networking allows devices to communicate without central control. And machine learning algorithms have been trained to predict flight paths with remarkable accuracy. Combine these elements and you get something like what defense analysts call a hunter-killer swarm. Small, fast, cheap interceptor drones likely in the 10 to 15 kilogram range, equipped with onboard AI capable of autonomous target identification and engagement. Based on publicly available component costs, such a drone could theoretically be produced for between $30,000 and $50,000 per unit. That is still more expensive than a Shahed. But if each interceptor has a high probability of kill, the economics start to shift. The real innovation, however, isn't the drone itself, it's the swarm intelligence. Traditional air defense operates on a hub-and-spoke model. Radars detect, command centers process, and launchers engage. Each step takes time, each handoff introduces delay. Against a single target, this works. Against 200 simultaneous targets, the system becomes overwhelmed. Swarm AI flips this model. Each drone is both sensor and shooter. They share information laterally, in real time. If one drone detects a target, the entire swarm knows within milliseconds. If one drone is destroyed, the others automatically redistribute their assignments. There is no central node to attack, and no bottleneck to exploit. Now let's return to our scenario and walk through how such an engagement might unfold. Remember, this is a projection based on known capabilities, not a confirmed event. At 3:52 AM, the interceptor swarm reaches engagement altitude. The AI has divided its 84 drones into 7 hunting packs of 12. Each pack is assigned to a sector of the incoming swarm. The system does something human commanders might not approve. It holds back 20% of its force in reserve and positions those drones along predicted escape routes. At 3:54 AM, the first interceptor makes visual contact with a Shahed at approximately 850 meters altitude. The AI does not attack immediately. Instead, it shadows the target for several seconds while calculating the optimal intercept vector. Then it strikes. The interceptor approaches from below and behind, a blind spot created by the Shahed's delta wing design. At the moment of impact, a small shaped charge detonates, igniting the Shahed's fuel tank. The drone becomes a fireball. What follows would be unlike any air engagement in history. Artificial intelligence learns in real time, adjusting approach angles based on what works. It discovers that Shahed 136s travelling in tight formations are more vulnerable, and their collision avoidance programming makes them predictable. Within minutes, the system develops a new tactic: force the Shahed 136s into formation, then pick them off from the edges. If the enemy attempts countermeasures, for example diving to low altitude for terrain masking, reserve interceptors are already in position. The low-flying drones fly directly into an ambush they never saw coming. By 4:17 in the morning, just 23 minutes after the engagement began, the assault could be effectively neutralised. Over 200 drones had launched, none reaching their targets. Let's analyse the mathematics of such an engagement. Assuming a Russian assault of 217 Shaheds at $20,000 each, that is roughly $4.3 million in drone costs alone. Add fuel, logistics, and launch infrastructure. Conservative estimates put the total expenditure at $7 to $8 million for a single mass attack. On the defence side, if 71 interceptors at $40,000 each were expended, that is approximately $2.8 million. Add operational costs, and the total might reach $3.5 million. For the first time, the cost ratio would favour the defender, roughly 2 to 1. This is not just a tactical victory, it is a strategic inflection point. Russia's entire drone strategy has been built on the assumption that quantity overwhelms quality. Launch enough Shaheds and some will always get through. If that assumption fails, the entire calculus of the air war changes. And here is the key insight. Once this technology is proven, it scales. The AI improves with every engagement, production costs decrease with volume. The advantage compounds over time. This is why defense ministries around the world are watching Ukraine so closely. They're not just seeing a war, they are seeing the future. Military analysts have predicted for decades that autonomous weapons would eventually dominate the battlefield. What is surprising is how quickly it is happening, and that it is being pioneered not by a superpower with unlimited resources, but by a country fighting for survival with improvised technology. According to a 2024 RAND Corporation study, autonomous swarm systems could reduce air defense costs by 60 to 80% compared to traditional missile-based approaches. The Pentagon has accelerated its own autonomous defense programs, with the Replicator initiative aiming to deploy thousands of AI-enabled drones by 2026. But there are also concerns. Once AI systems are authorized to make lethal decisions without human approval, where does it end? Today, it is drones versus drones. Tomorrow, it might be something else entirely. What we are witnessing in Ukraine is not just a war, it is a proving ground. The technologies being developed there out of necessity will shape how every military on Earth fights for the next 50 years. What do you think? Is AI-controlled air defense the solution to the drone swarm problem, or are we opening a door that should remain closed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. If this analysis helped you understand where warfare is heading, consider subscribing. We cover the technology, tactics, and strategy reshaping global security with new deep dives every week. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious.